Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet. Choose one side, cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good golden cockerel. First, great Tai Chi posture. Dropping those shoulders, opening up your span, sinking your chest, tucking your butt, growing a little taller, head straight up, knowing and focusing on your dantian, tongue on your palate. Here we go. Up, shift weight, counterbalance, up and down. Shift, up and down. Last set. Kicking out, shift weight, center up and out. Shift weight, center and counterbalance out. Last set. Holding our ball on a T stance, root down on the back or right foot, out on an L, move that ball, bow stance, stretch, sit back, sit down, smooth it out, firm down on a T, out on an L, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball on a T for centering, out on an L, move that ball, get a good stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, ball and T, out and to the side on an L. Where's your bow and arrow? Sit back, sit down, listen carefully. Parallel higher on a T. We're going to multitask. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T. Glance, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, firm down, parallel and higher. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, firm down, parallel and T. All together. Ear, heel, hand, turn hips, waist. Brush knee. One more set. Sit back, twist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Parallel higher. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Hold your ball on the T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T. Out and to the side. Part the wild horse's mane. Flip that forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit down, sit back, pivot, 12 o'clock. Pivot to the 9 o'clock. Two things happen, close your feet, flip your hands, cloud hands. Middle, 3 o'clock, flip, meet, open. Middle, this is in a 24, flip, meet, close. Middle, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, flip the hands open, middle, close the hand, flip Flip the hands, close the feet. 3 o'clock, hook the back hand, step out on an L, mimic with that left hand, push out, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot. This is the cloud hands in the 10 form now. Middle, 9 o'clock, flip, meet, close. Middle, flip, meet, open. Middle, only flip, meet. Middle, 3 o'clock, flip, meet, close your stance. Middle, use your hips and waist, 9 o'clock, flip, open. Only flip your hands, center yourself, come up as a golden cockerel. And down, and up, and down and cross, up and out, and in, center, and out. Holding your ball on a T stance, we're going to grasp the bird's tail. First, warding off, push them away. Turn your hips and waist, set up your hands, pull down, pull back, look back. Turn, square, then contact, push that energy out, roll back, and spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball for better balance on a T, out on an L, push them away. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. As you pull down, look back, sit down. Turn, square contact, push, separate and roll back. And spiral forward, closing form. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open, in, pivot, shift your weight to the left, right hand inside of the cross as you embrace the tiger. Rotate on your wrists, set palms facing you, chest level, push out. How do your hands go for the ride? Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, gravity takes care of your hands, wrap around, heel up, off the ground, toe down, closing form. Okay? All right. Let's see if we can see how far we can get in various sets of the 10 form and then moving on to the 24. Good Tai Chi posture. Within that Tai Chi posture, can you grow a little taller? Commencing form. Shift your weight, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, off the ground, open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate to the middle. Take a deep breath in as you elevate both hands, shoulder level, push down. Make yourself small. Center the front hand, right hand rises up higher, opens to the ceiling, bringing it to your ear as you glance. Turn your face, meet both hands in the middle as you repulse the monkey. Center, higher, open, ear, turn, meet, repulse of the monkey. T stance, parallel higher. You're going to multitask. L stance, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, L stance, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball on a T stance, out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Here it is. Sit back, sit down, pivot, T and ball, L and ball, part the wild horse's mane. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit back, sit down, 12 o'clock, pivot, stem and cup. Open pivot to 9 o'clock, flip, meet, close your stance. 12 o'clock cup, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, flip and open, middle, 9 o'clock, only flip, meet, 12 o'clock, stem and cup, 3 o'clock, flip, meet, close your stance, middle, 9 o'clock, flip, meet, open, middle. 3 o'clock, only flip, meet. Shift your weight to center, up, golden cockerel. Kick out. Grasp the bird's tail. First, ward off. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. As you pull down, pull back, look back. Using your waist and hips to turn, push out. Roll back, make yourself small, and spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, center on a T, out and to the side, push them away. Turn your hips and waist, reposition your hands. Sit down, sit back, look back. Turn, square contact, push out. Separate and roll back. And spiral forward, apparently closing. Sit down, sit back, pivot, open pivot, in pivot, off the ground, tuck the right hand inside the cross as you embrace the tiger, rotate. Chest level, both palms are facing, push out with your core. Separate, drop your shoulders, make yourself small as you close your form. Okay, kicking it up a notch now, using less instructions. Good Tai Chi posture. Here we go. Commencing form. Open, rotate, elevate, deep breath. Reverse. Center, higher, open, ear, turn, repulsing of the monkey. Center, higher, open, glance, ear, turn, push and pull. T stance on a parallel higher. Multitask by brushing your knee. T stance, parallel higher to brush your knee. Part the wild horse's mane on an L and then a bow stance. What you do on one side, you must do on the other side. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit back, sit down. 12 o'clock, stem and cup on a pivot. 11, 10, open that pivoted foot to a 9 o'clock, flip meet, close your stance. Middle or cup, 3 o'clock, flip meet, open your stance, middle or cup. 9 o'clock, only flip your hands, middle or cup. 3 o'clock, flip the hands, close the stance, middle or cup. 9 o'clock, flip the hands open, middle or cup. 3 o'clock, only flip the hands, up, golden cockerel. Kicking out. Grasp the bird's tail. Ward off first. Then drag the bird's tail down. Push out. Roll back. Make yourself small and then expend that energy. Sit back. Twist. Ball. L. Bow stance. Oh. Apparently closing. Embrace the tiger. Up, rotate, push out. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees. Make yourself small as you close your form. Okay, round 3, getting better. Grow a little taller, commencing form. Repulsing of the monkey. Brush knee. Part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands. Golden cockerel. Kick out. Grasp the bird's tail. Apparently closing. Embrace the tiger. Closing form. Begin. Okay, pretty good. Let's go on to the 24 now, okay? So we're going to do it easier. We're going to move towards the bulletin board, okay? So you know that what we just did in the 10 form, we will apply to the 24. Same way, except we're going to go in a straight line, okay? Zigzag, but getting there in a straight way. Hands at your waist, pivot out on your right heel, walk in that direction. Shift your weight out on an L, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that zigzag direction, out on an L, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, we're going to hold our ball, left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball. Out on an L, move that ball, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball. Spin your ball to the right, look at your right hand, lift up your left foot to its toe, set it down on its toe, white crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot, bisect your body in half. Look back at your back hand is higher, we're going to multitask. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand on an L stance, brush knee. We do it 3 times, this is 2. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, L stance, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee, 3. Half step forward, sit back on your back foot, rock your front foot to this toe, sit on the back foot, play your lute on your heel. We're going to repulse the monkey now. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, look at your back hand that's higher. We're going to put the weight all in our back. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball of your foot to meet both hands in the middle as you repulse the monkey. Pull back, push forward. Center, glance at your higher hand, open to the ceiling. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the ball of your foot as you meet in the center and repulse number 2. Center, higher, open, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, pivot, repulse, 3. Center, higher, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, repulse, 4. Hold your ball on a T-step as you go towards the clock wall. We're going to ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look back, sit back, turn, square, then contact, push out that energy, and roll back. Make yourself small and spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, right hand on the bottom, holding your ball on a T stance. We're going to ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, pull down, pull back, look back, turn, square, contact, push out, roll back, and spiral forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot as if you're doing a cloud hands. T stance, middle, hook the back hand, look at it. Step out on an L stance, single whip. All right, now we're going to do cloud hands, but I'm going to reposition you, okay? So here we are, let's do it this way now, okay? Because we did it purposely that way so that you could follow. We're doing it purposely this way so that you could follow. This is called single whip. We're going to move into cloud hands. Sit down, sit back. 12 o'clock cup, 3 o'clock. Hands are ready to go for cloud hands. Middle. 11, 10, 9 o'clock. Flip the hands, join the feet. Middle. 3 o'clock, flip the hands, open the feet. Middle. 9 o'clock, flip the hands, close the feet. We do it 3 rounds. That was round number 2. This is round number 3. Cloud hands. We want to get out of cloud hands, so we're going to hook the back hand. Left hand comes across your face, out on an L, turn the palm, push out. Let's try something. Half step forward, sit back. Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, reposition this time, okay? So this is single whip. We got out of cloud hands. You'll like it better this way, okay? Half step forward, sit back. Lift up your front foot, pat your horse up his mane. Cross at your wrist. Step out with your heel of your left foot as both palms open, gathers up that energy, lifts up with the right hand on the outside and right foot coming up to kick out in line, in, drop gently on your heel, look through your double punch. Sit back, sit down, pivot all the way to the field, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out, in, and then we're at a really hard movement called serpent in the grass. Okay? So what we tried to do was drill a lot with the 10 form. I think we must have done about 5 sets. Then we quickly moved on to the 24 and tried to apply what we learned in the 10 form to the 24, where we came forward and we did some fancy things and there were more transitions. And I think you really did a good job because it's not easy, and I think the approach that maybe I used might have shown you some similarities, although I know that there are some unclear movements such as playing your lute or white crane spreads its wings, and those are called transition movements. You just get into them so you can, they can get you into another movement, okay? And sometimes those are the harder movements, although it is only one stance, so to speak, okay? Whereas the others take a flow and a movement, more movements. All right. What I want to do now is help you with some of the unclear areas or unclear movements. So I'm going to open it up to you. You tell me where you need help, and then I'll figure it out and see if I could help you a little bit better. Is there anybody who has any problem with any particular movement or has a question on anything? White crane spreads its wings, okay. That one for sure, okay. Something else? We can go back into the 10 form. Single whip, you want single whip and white crane, those are good. So both are transition movements. How about going back to the 10 movements? Anything in the 10 movements before I address those two? Grasping the bird's tail. And how to, the transition into cloud hands from parting the wild horse's mane. Okay, that's always a hard one, okay? So without words, you're gonna watch, okay? First watch me, okay? Then you kind of look at it and you kind of say, well, what is she really doing? Try to get the whole picture, and then we'll talk about it. So Faye says she wants to know how to get into cloud hands from parting of the wild horse's mane. So we part the wild horse's mane, 1. We're in no rush, thinking through our movements. making sure we do everything nicely, cleanly. Out on an L, no words. Okay, and you know the rest. Now these are words, okay? So you're watching this time, okay? So you watch the first time, you're gonna watch the second time, and then we'll do it again and drill together, okay? So we know how to part the wild horse's mane, priming us up for what's coming after, okay? Doing it well so you won't have difficulty. You flip the I'm in a bow stance. I stay in a bow stance. I flip the forward hand. I join it with the back hand. This is like the beginning of cloud hands. Is that right? Sit back, sit down. When I pivot, my clock is at what? 12 o'clock. Therefore, I should have a stem and a cup. I want to get out to the 9 o'clock. How am I going to do that? Jump? I'm going to be smart, shift my weight to the right to allow my pivot to take me to 9 o'clock. Two things happen. I flip my hands, I close my stance. Back at 12, home base, 3 o'clock, on and on it goes, right? And every time I'm using my hips and waist, my hands are going for the ride. If I don't use my hips and waist, my hands, my cloud of my hands do not float like a cloud. It's only when I direct it with my hips and waist. Okay, so this time we're gonna do it together, okay? So we're gonna give us a break and we're gonna do the movement before cloud hands, which is parting of the wild horse's mane. So we're on a T, left hand on the bottom, left foot ready to go. T stance, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, ball and T. L stance, bow stance. Okay, listen for your directions. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. You're still in a bow stance. Great. Sit back, sit down. What happens when you pivot? The body turns. You're now at what? 12 o'clock. Do you have a stem and a cup? We want to get out to the 9 o'clock. So what's the logical move? Pivot out. Do your hands follow? Yes, if your hips and waist are moving. But 9 o'clock, two things happen. Good thing, because we can't hold that stance. 12 o'clock, stem and cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, move the hips and waist, flip the hands open. Move the hips and waist, only flip the hands. Move the hips and waist, close the stance. Middle, use the hips and waist, open. Use the hips and waist, flip, only shift up. Right? So if you understand that the hands just go for the ride and you make your hips and waist do the work, you'll see that if you use your hips and waist, and we can don't even just put our hands here, and if you use your hips and waist, you are getting to the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock, of course the 12 o'clock. So then if the hands are set right and you move, hey, the hands go there for you. Then you just remember the extreme of 9 o'clock, two things happen. Extreme of 3 o'clock, two things and maybe only one thing, depending where you are. Let's do it again. This time you try to internalize what you heard, what you saw, so that you can grow away from me and put it in your own memory bank, okay? We're gonna part the wild horse's mane. Left foot ready to go, left hand on the bottom. Out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Here it is. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift, firm down on a T, out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit down, pivot. We have our clock at 12. We want to pivot out to the 9. Flip the hands, close the feet. Easy. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip and open. Use your hips and waists. This time we're only flipping. 12 o'clock is our center. 3 o'clock, flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, center. 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. 3 o'clock, only 1 thing happens. Up and center, golden cockerel, right? So just in this movement of cloud hands, we're not only using our hips and waists, but we're surely shifting our weight. If we don't shift our weight, we can't allow this hips and waists to swivel, and neither can we then move. But once we move and shift our weight, we're able to help our movement make it act as a whole. So every little bit of what we're doing enhances our cloud hand movement, okay? Let's do it one more time, starting from the beginning, but this is our focus. Our focus is to see that we not only do cloud hands a little better, but every time you move, can you kind of earmark or mentally take note that you are shifting your weight? And I'm positive that there will be many, many more times once you focus, okay? So you're gonna focus, you're gonna say, I can do Yang 10 with the sequencing, but I'm gonna take note of all the times I'm shifting my weight, okay? Good Tai Chi posture. Commencing form. Shifting your weight. Shifting your weight. Pulsing of the monkey. You think this is shifting a weight? And is this shifting a weight? Flip and join. Sit back. 12 o'clock. Pivot out. 9 o'clock. Shifting weight. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay, so getting back to Al's question regarding how do you get into white crane spreads its wings. So you watch first, okay, and then we'll put words to it. So those two transition movements come from the 24. So, I'll just do it this way out of convenience, okay? Maybe not, but we'll see. This is the commencing form for the 24. We part the wild horse's mane 3 times. So Al's question was, how do you get to the transition movement of white crane spreads its wings? You saw that after we parted the wild horse's mane in the 10 form, we moved into cloud hands. In the 24, it sets us up so that we now have to hold our ball on a half step. You see that my back foot is only on its toes. That's called a half step. When I spin my ball and sit back on my back foot, I lift up the right hand, and the counterbalance is to lift up my left foot, and white crane now spreads its wings on its toes. Okay, let's try that. So let's face the clock and start commencing form, and then you'll see me when we face the bulletin board. Okay, commencing form, shift weight, open, rotate, up, deep breath, push down, hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball. L stance, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Third parting of the wild horse's mane. We are going slowly. Half step forward, hold your ball for better balance. Sit back on your back foot, lift up your right hand, lift up your left foot, place it down, white crane spreads its wings. Then we said, how do you bisect your body? So you're going to bisect your body using your top hand, but you're going to bisect it like in your danten area, 2 inches below your navel. So you're going to move that front top hand, right hand, and you're going to bisect. And then you're going to come up as a parallel and higher. But this time you're going to lift up the front foot, put it on its heel, and brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, parallel higher, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee, 2. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, parallel higher, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee, 3. We're going into a transition called playing our lute. Half step forward, sit back on our back foot, reposition our hands to our toe of the left foot, set it on its heel, and play our lute. So this is setting us up for repulsing of the monkey. Why? Because we have this front foot weightless so that it could go backwards. So right away, when we play our lute, the weight is all on our back foot. So once we do this, we can then safely come up. And then the ball of the foot, repulse 1. Center, weight on the back, lift up. This is a backwards Tai Chi walk. We do it 4 times. Center, look at your backhand, that's higher. Lift up, off the ground, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball of your foot as you slide forward and slide back. Last one, center, glance at your backhand that's higher, weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance. We can go on and we can grasp the bird's tail. Out on your heel, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. So you're in a different orientation. You're not used to maybe, how you're positioned, but it's the same thing. Grasping of the bird's tail remains the same in all forms. Sit back, sit down, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Out on the nail, push your opponent away, turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, pull down, pull back, look back, turn, square contact, push, separate and roll back, and roll forward. Now hold your stance. Now, remember we're in a bow stance, but I don't see too much of a bow stance in many, many of you. Why is that? What happened? How's a bow stance? Drag your right or forward foot back. Does it clash with your back foot? Ooh, what happened? Drag your front foot back. Does it clash with your back foot? For some reason it is, okay? So there's a little bit of a error someplace, but I think I know what it is. So you understand what I'm trying to say. Everybody followed really well, and I think you somehow make some kind of a crossover in understanding what the 10 form can give you and lend to the 24 and back and forth. But there's a peculiar thing that many of you are doing, but I think I know what it is. Grasping of the bird's tail is the same. I don't have to teach it every time I teach the 10 form, the 24 form, or the 16 form. It always remains the same. However, when we do the 10 form, we're facing this way and we're facing this way to grasp the bird's tail. But all of a sudden, we're going this way and that way, and it kind of throws your sense of orientation off a little. So let me just show you something, okay? We started this way, and we said commencing form. Okay, just bear with me, because this is what you learned, and maybe this will help you to understand what we're doing. We said to part the wild horse's mane, and we went out on an L, we parted the wild horse's mane, no problem. But somewhere along the line, it kind of throws you for a loop, because the orientation is different. But I'm trying to tell you that this is your twist step, this is your L stance, this is your bow stance. Half step forward, because remember, Al wanted to know how to do white crane. When the right hand goes up, the left hand has to go up as a counterbalance. Then we bisected our body, cut our body in half, then we multitask and we try to make that connection where there's nothing different, except maybe going on a zigzag, but the hand motions, the L stance, the bow stance remain the same. We do it 3 times. This is my last time. Then we need to get out of brush knee. So I said half step forward. I said sit back, rock the front foot to its toe, set it on its heel as I play the lute. Sets me up for repulsing of the monkey. Why? Because this foot is weightless, okay? Center my front hand, look at my back hand that's higher, open to the ceiling, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of my foot as I meet in the center, repulse of the monkey. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, repulse of the monkey, 2. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, repulse of the monkey, 3. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, heel, pivot, 4. Hold your ball on a T stance, okay? So it's no different, but your feeling for where you are at is something new. It's not familiar. Watch to see if I do anything different with grasping of the bird's tail. I'm on a T stance. I come out on an L. I push my opponent away. Turn my hips and waist. I grasp the bird's tail. It's the same way, but I'm facing a little different. Therefore, my body, my mind is not used to this orientation. Therefore, you do not, your feet somehow want to correct that because you're not used to it. I'm centered, I'm on a T. I come out on an L, I push them away. I turn my hips and waist, I grasp the bird's tail. So this is the instance when I turned and I saw that your feet were different than what mine are looking at now. Because here is a bow stance, but some of you had a clash. I don't have a clash, and I'm clear of that all the way. I have that gap so that I can make that turn. But many of you were in a clash position. And I think it's okay for now.